Okay, we have the new drive shaft fitted, we got the new control arm fitted. That's gonna be in a different video how this works. Now we're gonna fit the strut, which got a new shock as well, old spring, new shock, and that comes next. Sorry, I think there was some sun going into it. So we got new control arm, new drive shaft. That's gonna come in a separate video, how this works, and now we're gonna fit the new repaired strut with the new damper and the old spring. So if you fiddle the drive shaft and the bottom joint in at the same time, you can just rest it here and then get the top aligned and get the bolts in. Job done. There you go. So now all you need to do is getting the bolts in. I greased them a little bit to make sure they're actually fitting nicely. So we got 2 bolts in, can't go anywhere, and now all it needs getting that bolt joint in, which is in now. Getting a nut on top of it. You can find it somewhere here. And there is a hex inside, so if it runs around, there's a hex that can stop it from moving. So, and then fit the bolt joint hanger, fit the sway bar hanger, brakes and everything, and you're there. Obviously steering makes sense if you put that in as well. So yeah, it's not rocket science. It's a pretty simple job. So we got it mostly together. Don't forget a little tab here which holds the ABS cable. We tighten up this one, we tighten up this one. We still need to get this one in. It's having some trouble here. Before you put the plug in, spray it with silicone. Bit of silicone spray keeps the water out, and then just plug it in. Don't forget it, otherwise you get an ABS error. So we need to fit that bracket, which is painted that, and once that's fitted, we're going to fit the brake shield, which we cleaned and painted with new bolts, because the old ones are completely rotten, and then we need to clean the surface here. I didn't do it on the workbench because it was always turning, so here it's now a bit stiffer on the car, so it's in park, that's the reason why it doesn't really move very well. Right, so yeah, so this side is almost done. Yeah, get the little things here mounted, and then yeah, we're good to go. Then we do the brake discs, brake pads, check if everything is where it should be, put the wheel on, one side done. When you mount the strut, make sure you're actually in the center and everything is lined up properly. Yeah, otherwise you may have some issues later on. If I look at this, this is not exactly the same position, but there is nothing I can do. That's the way it is. It centers with these bolts somehow. Maybe we'll loosen it and push it out as far as we can, just to make sure we don't have any negative camber. But, yeah, I think it's okay. The problem is there is no camber adjustment. I was thinking about, I'll try with the old ones. I mill these holes out just a tad and put an adjuster at the bottom, because at the top you might fall with the drive shaft if it's fully in, but at the bottom you can have some sort of adjuster, which is probably a business idea. We'll find out, because especially if you lower your car, the camber gets really negative, so you need to go further in. You can't, there is no adjustment. Anyway, we still need to torque all the bolts to spec, and that's what we're gonna do as soon as we figured out what the torques are. I don't remember them. I looked it up, but I forgot about it. So everything together, everything torqued up. This one is good, this one is done, these two are done. The little adjuster, headlight adjuster, strut is back in, this bracket is back, plug is in, top mounts are tight, the surface is cleaned. Super important that there's no debris on the surface, because otherwise the brake disc is wobbling, and so does the wheel then, causing you other issues. Before we mount it, we grease it with copper grease, make sure the new brake discs are not binding as the old ones. So let's put that brake shield back on. They were pretty rusty, so I painted them a bit. Can't remember which one is which one, but I think they are the same. Yeah, they're exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter which one goes where. So let's put the worst one on this side, because usually on the other side there is more dirt, so they only go one way. Which is probably this way. No, it's the other way around. They go this way. That's how they go. Yeah. And the reason why there are two holes is because they fit on both sides. Clever idea. Alright, let's get some new bolts. We have some here. Before we fit them, we obviously grease them. Yeah. Obvious, just put new bolts in, job done, because the old ones are rotten. Okay, brakes fitted, everything torqued to spec. We're just waiting for drying of this clamp here, because we painted a little bit with the rusty, and then we set it down to where we had, get the jack on the other side and do the other side. There's no parts left except the ones we have to have left, which is the nut and the screw of the drive shaft. It should be reused. We got some brand new tires. This rim is a bit hot, but this one, yeah, it looks okay, but it's not pretty. I just sprayed it briefly because I was in the middle of refurbishing it, and then I realized that this one is really bad. When you tighten the thing up, use a screwdriver in the hole and push the rubber top as far out as you can, because that stops you from having a negative camber problem. So just push it, tighten the bolts, the strut will do the rest, so the strut at the top, and then just tighten the bolts up and you're good. Because this side had a lot of negative camber, so we're just working against it. Like that, 30 Newton meters over. I got a list somewhere. Okay, so that's how you do your top strut, or top strut. That's how you do the top strut mounts. Just push it out as far as you can. It does help with your tire wear, because these cars are suffering a lot from negative camber. Alright, so we got it in. Turn it around and put the drive shaft in. Put the bottom joint in, and yeah, obviously the steering may help a little bit. And same as the other side. Alright. Okay, brake shield on with no hardware. we need to clean the plug and put some silicone in. Steering is done, bottom joint is done, top mount is done. We need to wait until this bracket is dry, and then we're gonna do the brakes, and this side is gonna be done. Yeah, so clean the hub, make sure the brake disc goes on nicely, because the other one was binding really bad. I had to use a hammer to get it out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Right, let's go on. So before you fit the pads, check if they move freely, because sometimes they got some nasty marks from production, so they need to have a little bit of play, otherwise they go binding very quickly. Technically these don't need copper grease on the rear, because this is an anti-squeak pad. I always put a little bit on the clamps to make sure they're not rusting. Obviously rewind the piston, make sure your brake fluid reservoir isn't overflowing when you rewind it, and then put it back in the caliper. So this style goes on the outside and this style goes on the inside. You may need, on some aftermarket pads, you may need to compress these springs a little bit, because otherwise you're not going to get it into the piston. So that's the plan so far. Right, then make sure your caliper pin guides are clean. You also need to clean the caliper pins. If they look like that, you can almost be certain they're going to bind again. So they need polishing. And then grease it with some silicone based grease. I use this ATE stuff here. It's silicone based grease which doesn't dissolve rubber, because normal grease will just make your rubber completely soft, and then you got wobbly brakes like on the Jeep. The whole system is really funny, but well, American style. Anyway, yeah, we compress the piston. Need to get the pads into. I always put a little bit of copper grease. Make sure you scrape this surface clean. There's no rust left on this one here. Otherwise the pads don't go fully in. Also the piston, which is here, put a light film of copper grease on it. Stops it from squeaking and from rusting, and then we should be good to go. These brake discs have some coating on it, so they're not greased. It's just some strange coating, I don't know what it is, but apparently it wipes off when you brake, so you don't need to clean them, which is good. Alright, yeah, it's no rocket science. Just take it, put it down here, and the other one on the other side, and then the whole caliper goes on that. Let me prepare that, and that'll be good to go. So, just cleaning off the caliper pins. Yeah, just I spray with WD-40, and then I just polish it with some polishing cloth. Yeah, that's how they should look like, and that's how they look like. And then we just wipe it up with WD-40 to get rid of the rubber. And this is rust here that needs to go, because you're going to go into the whole thing. It's either rust or brake pad residue, or who knows, but that needs to come off. Yeah, you get the idea. So let's polish that and see how it looks like. This is just a rear of a emery cloth. It's not abrasive. Yeah, it feels better. Alright, let's clean it off. Looks good to me. Alright, let's fit them. So, everything back together. This is a bit of a pain. I use a huge clamp and hold that here and then just wedge it in at the bottom. It's, yeah, because you put it in at the top and it jumps out at the bottom, so that's just holding the brake pad in place. So let's put the wheel on. We need to tighten them, but I want to spin the wheels first to make sure everything is seated, and then I check it for 290 inch-pounds, 33 newton meters. That's 290 inch-pounds because my small torque wrench is in inch-pounds, and then so it's still on the track, so I just run it briefly, apply the brakes, make sure everything is okay, and then we check it for torque, and then it's 90 degrees, so it's 290 inch-pounds, 33 newton meters plus 90 degrees. Always use new bolts, never reuse the old ones. This one has been reused and it was not tight. I could see that it was super hard to get it out, and it was not tight, so whatever they did wasn't right. Alright, let's put the wheel on. So, all done, drive shaft's in, everything is hunky-dory. We did a test drive and things are working great. We call that good for now. Enough. Need to do something else. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Until next time.